Here's some stuff you need to know.
You know, I got an interesting email the other day about an organic insulation for houses, and I had to look it up. I went on the internet, took a look at it, and I found it to be something that may be real viable to be using. So I had to make arrangements to go look at it because I got some big questions. One is organic. Are rodents, bugs, and things like that going to want to eat this stuff? Two, it's organic. How well is it going to work as an insulating property? And then three, of course, again, it's organic. Is this stuff going to degrade over time? So I read up as much as I could, but you know, nothing beats going and looking at a product. So I'm going to head out to one of their job sites and actually take a look at the product. This is made of Milo.
Made of Milo, green sorghum.
Yeah. Now, the first thing that most people are going to think is, I don't want to eat my insulation. So I guess probably your biggest question is always, how do you keep bugs and mice and rats and things, squirrels, from eating it?
Well, there's two good answers to that, Jim. First place, the way we process the grain, we remove all of the proteins and the fats.
Right.
So it's not a food source anymore.
Okay.
So they're not attracted to it. The next thing we do is we toss it in boric powder, and it makes it flame resistant, but it also makes it bug resistant. Bugs don't like the borax any more than the flame does. So those two things just pretty well eliminate them. Now that doesn't mean mice won't nest in it. Mice will nest in anything.
Yeah.
But people want to know that it's not going to draw mice into their house, so
Right.
it won't do that.
Okay. Now, this looks like a pretty simple process for putting it in.
Very simple.
Doesn't take a lot of
We don't bale anything. We do everything in bulk. We manufacture it, blow it in a trailer, suck it out of a trailer, blow it up in an attic. If we want to clean it, suck it out of one bag, blow it in another bag and clean it. That's the way to handle anything, in my opinion. No bagging, no labor necessary in bagging.
Very cool. So what's the expected life?
Indefinite, as long as it doesn't get in the rain. If your roof blows off, you're going to replace your insulation.
Working on the R value part of it, you know, if you go with fiberglass or cellulose, you're normally looking at 15, 16 inches to get up to a R39, something in that range.
Right.
What are we dealing with here?
Very similar. We're 3.2 R factor per inch.
Okay.
It's a little bit less than cellulose, a little bit more than fiberglass, but so close, it's the same.
They're all in the range, yeah.
So an R38, which is what we use up in our part of the world in West Texas, is 12 inches. So 12 inches is the same as a cubic foot, same as a square foot. So it's real easy to figure when you're at it.
So I see a blower here, big old motor.
It's a Venturi system.
Okay.
All right, it creates a fan, creates a suction on one end and blows out the other end. That's the way we handle everything. Suck it out of the trailer, blow it up in the attic. That machine will blow it roughly 200 feet.
I mean, it's coming out in bulk like this, and you can see it running through the hose there. Doesn't look like it's going to take very long to do a house.
We can do a typical 2,000 square foot house in about 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
And when you're done with their leftover materials you have, as long as it stays dry, you're good for the next trip. Very cool. Okay, so the Ventura is bringing it in here.
Yeah.
That looks pretty darn simple to be
Very
blowing
simple.
in.
There's no dust or no harm for the installers. No breathing of fiberglass.
Right.
No breathing of dust off the cellulose. These guys like to do it compared to the other because it's so much cleaner.
Oh yeah, and you don't go home with fiberglass embedded in your arm, and
when you go
yeah,
home,
you know, and virtually you got no waste doing it this way.
No. Right.
This stuff looks like it's going in quick.
It does. It won't take very long to do a 3,000 square foot home. It'll take us about 3 or 4 hours to blow it in.
All right, so we're out on a job site today. What exactly are you doing on this house?
Well, on this house, what we're doing is a removal and replace. Part of the reason why we are doing the removal on this one, the homeowner here has some allergy problems. So a lot of people don't realize is that attic is the primary source of dust and allergens coming into the home.
Yep.
And so whenever we do a removal, we come in and we vacuum out all of the old insulation along with, just all the dirt and junk that collects up there over the years. Then we come back in and we foam seal the attic, meaning we foam seal around all of your can lights, all of your air conditioning return vents, all of the electric plates for ceiling fans, any holes.
Basically eliminating the dust coming.
That is correct. We basically seal off the attic from the house. Then we come back in and we put in fresh Milo or MILEX, which is hypoallergenic. And that can dramatically improve the quality of the air within inside of the home. So if there's anyone that struggles with allergies, then that can give them some nice needed relief while they're at home.
So when you're vacuuming this stuff out, right now in everybody's head, they're seeing a 5-gallon shop vac. How are you getting this stuff out?
No, we have a 36 horsepower vacuum that has long hoses that vacuums. We come into a big, huge bag that's 75 cubic feet. It's about 4 feet around, and then it's about 6 feet tall. So we have a series of bags that we're blowing in. So we remove all of the old insulation. It's just not, we're not just blowing it out into the air. It's being contained, and we take it to the hazardous dump site. So
why hazardous?
Well, it's old fiberglass,
okay.
So it would be considered a hazardous material. So that's why we take it to the dump and have to dispose of it properly.
Okay. All right, Todd. So obviously this is how you're getting material out to the job site. But what do we got going in the corner here?
Well, we move everything in bulk, and we load the trailer with the Milo, and then these guys here, what they do is they're scooping the Milo and putting it into the hopper. This is a big, giant insulation blower that blows it into the home.
All right, so in getting set up, I noticed you guys have put some boards along the plywood edges. What is that for?
Correct. That's what we call a plywood retaining board. What it is used for is for two things. It actually allows the insulation to build up along the edges of the decking or walkways so that it doesn't, because otherwise you have to just taper it off.
Right, and we're covering up our plywood then. And
that's correct.
Not knowing where the edges are.
That's correct. So the other thing is that it keeps the insulation back from the edges, so it allows it, keeps it nice and clean. We also use that board for maybe areas of the house where there might be a vaulted ceiling or a raised ceiling, and we'll use that to help hold the insulation in, and again allow the inches to build up properly along the edges. Otherwise, it'll just cascade off the sides.
And it's that simple? I mean, we're done then?
That's that simple.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple process.
Okay.
Here's some stuff you need to know.
So what is Milo insulation? What sets it apart from all other insulation companies?
Well, Milo insulation is a natural plastic that is made from grain sorghum that we have developed into a insulation. What separates it is the fact that it looks like a packing peanut, but the inside of it contains tiny air pockets.
Okay.
And that's important because whenever you initially install, traditional blow-in insulation, it's nice and fluffy, and that's because there's a lot of air in there, and that trapped air is what actually creates the thermal barrier. Over time, that air escapes, and it flattens and shrinks and starts losing its R value. With Milo, if you were to take one of those peanuts and break it open, you would notice there's thousands of little tiny air bubbles on the inside, and because the air always remains on the inside of the product, it maintains its R value. MILEX or Milo has virtually zero shrinkage, so once it settles, it creates an amazing thermal blanket that is there for the life of the home. You never have to re-insulate because the air always remains on the inside of the product.
Probably your biggest question is always, how do you keep bugs and mice and rats and things, squirrels, from eating it?
Well, there's two good answers to that, Jim. First place, the way we process the grain, we remove all of the proteins and the fats.
Right.
So it's not a food source anymore.
Okay.
So they're not attracted to it. The next thing we do is we toss it in boric powder, and it makes it flame resistant, but it also makes it bug resistant. Bugs don't like the borax any more than the flame does.
So this product is made from all natural stuff. Where's it come from?
It comes from farmers that we've got in Texas, and we've got a network of about 14 farmers from Perryton, Texas, which is right up close to the Oklahoma border, all the way down to McAllen. So we've got about 14 farmers throughout the state of Texas that actually produce the sorghum and send it to us in Tulia, Texas, where it's all processed.
Well, going through that long a distance, you just passed through 3 different weather cycles in a matter
that
of...
was the specific reason why we did it that way. If one region had a bad crop year for whatever reason, we would have other regions that we can choose from to make sure that we have a good supply and we're not into a supply shortage.
Right, and I'm assuming you would have almost a year-round supply that way because their growing seasons are different.
That's correct. We actually have 2 different growing seasons that for us that we get shipments in, but we usually stay about a year ahead in supply, so that we always make sure that we have enough material so that there's not a supply chain shortage.
Want more videos like these? Make sure to hit that subscribe button. It'll keep you informed.